Hey everybody, Cam Capital here on April 7th with a video for electric vehicle stocks. So we got Tesla, NIO, Lee, and XPEV that we'll talk about in this video. So we're going to start with Tesla, obviously the biggest out of the bunch. And so news came out on Tesla today that they have been delaying deliveries for their new Model S and Model X. They've got a big increase in demand, according to several news articles, and they're struggling keeping up with the demand. That could be from semiconductor shortages and basic infrastructure as they continue to ramp up productions. But you see here from yesterday and today here on the 5-minute chart. So yesterday was basically a sideways action consolidation between 682 and 696, and then first thing this morning we retest that 682 low, right? Buyers come in, support that 682 low, push us up back to 691, and you see we can't really push through that 691 area where we closed at yesterday, right? So yesterday we closed at 691.63, and we get to 691.38, just can't get that buying momentum higher, and then we roll over, sell off throughout the day, end up down at 670.97, down 3% on the day, and you do see we do have some slight positive momentum here after hours. So just here from the 5-minute chart with the volume, you can see if we get some more weakness, we could probably sell down to the 660 level, where we do have another area of consolidated volume. If we hop out to the daily, you also see here basically where we traded today, trade between moving averages, right? So open basically on yesterday basically closed on the 50 EMA, opened slightly lower today, got that retest, trying to break through the high yesterday, couldn't do it, so that 50 EMA is acting as resistance, and we sell off, basically sell off down into the 9, close right about to 22. So we could see some more sideways action here, so we do have the 9 curling up as the 50 and 22 are flat, and we still are putting in higher lows if this thing does decide to go down, which we could, looking at the weekly chart here. So you see here on the weekly, we did cross below this 9 EMA on the weekly, 679, but we could trade down to potentially this 22 EMA on the weekly down at 650. So there could be some potential downside here. We do also have that block of volume at 660, which is also where the candle closed last week, 661. So obviously that level is going to be the first level you'd like to see buying support come in at 660 if we do get some continued weakness into the rest of the week for Tesla. Next we'll go to Lee, because Lee actually had news out. They announced that they are going to do a mixed security offering, $750 million in convertible senior notes, that could become due by 2028. So got a significant move lower here for Lee, down to 22.23, down 13% on the day. And obviously with that news, news came out yesterday after hours, I believe, pretty big sell-off after hours, and then just rolled over right from the start in pre-market, right? So we got to test pre-market lows with the low after hours, quick bounce off that, buyers come in, open comes up, overwhelmingly volume, people selling, and we basically sold off all day. You see we found support right at the close of the day at this 23.6 fib. So if we hop out to the daily, here you see pretty large red candle, definitely huge increase on volume over the past weeks. So 37.5 million shares traded, most of that selling, obviously with the red candle, or I should say full red candle, closed down at 23.6 fib. So that 23.6 fib was basically from the move August all the way up to the high in November. And if we look here, you see we are kind of below the volume shelf, right? So we do have quite a bit of volume now above where we're currently sitting. So we'll look to see if we can form a higher low through here right now, maybe consolidated. We have had changes in momentum at this 23.6 fib over the last month, so we look to see if that area can be held by buyers, or whether or not this thing's just going to keep selling off on continued weakness. And as you see here, just on the the weekly chart, 9 EMAs basically where we open. That's downturning now as we've made that significant move today. But here on the weekly, it does actually show we do have a little bit of volume support right at that 23.6 fib, so that could be a sign that buyers could step up and come in. So we'll have to look and see going forward on lead for the rest of the week. But to me, if there's continued weakness, I'd look to fade this potentially lower. And as we have, you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks that have basically gone through this 23.6 fib, but none of those candles closed below 23.6. So this could be an area where that resistance finally fails, but it also could be a spot where if you see a buy signal, buyers could get in and push this thing back up. So it's really a 50-50 ball in my eyes right now going into the rest of the week. Oh, didn't type it in there. So now we have NIO. So NIO here on the daily, pretty similar chart to Li, obviously competitor in the Chinese market. There's also, if you look at this news article here, came out 10:56 about Li and NIO. They basically said there's some concerns about the Chinese economy, tightening up policy moving forward. That was kind of like the biggest blip in that article about NIO. But obviously, charts can look similar to one of its top competitors. So if we zoom back out to the daily here for NIO, all right, you see basically from last Thursday when we did have the move higher from EVs, basically opened that last Thursday on the gap up, sold off back down to the 9, and then here basically the 9 had been a consolidation point for the last 2 days, and then we break it pretty significantly here today on Wednesday. So next area of support lower, obviously going to be right about this 200 EMA on the daily. It's going to be about 36 bucks, and we do have quite a bit of consolidation there prior, these last couple weeks in that $36 area. And you also have 1, 2, basically 6 candles where the volume and or price pivoted around that 200 EMA. So that's going to be your first line of defense for buyers to come in. And if we jump out to the weekly, right, you just see that a little bit more exaggerated. We do have this 50 EMA coming up. So if 36 doesn't hold, obviously then you're down to the 50 fib, and then consolidation level even down further to this 50 EMA on the weekly. And then lastly, we'll look at Xpeng, so XPEV. Daily chart's going to look similar again, but we did have a little bit of a dip buy here in the morning off this 35.10 area, 35.06, which I was to say prior, but more of the support was at 35.5, where we did push back up into, and that area did become overhead resistance as we made the move lower. Continually faded, just like Li and XPEV, but you see here big old increase of volume in the last 5 minutes at that $34 mark, right where we poked the low. Here 33.95, so it looks like buyers did come in pretty strong to protect that $34 mark, at least today. We zoom out here on the daily, pretty similar chart to NIO, a little bit more strength as we do have quite a bit more consolidation around all these EMAs, and all these EMAs are pretty tight, 50s above, but the 209 and 22 all on top of each other. But kind of the bad sign for that for today is that the candle today broke through the 22, the 9, and the 200. And we could potentially say we do have a little bit more of a gap filled here down to at least 33.82. If you believe in theory that gaps get filled. So looking at volume wise too, quite a bit of volume above that $35 area, and less as we go lower. If we jump out the weekly, you see here we're consolidating between the 22, 50, and the 9, and this mark would have on the weekly support 33.79, so that'd basically be that gap fill 33.82, where buyers could come in if this thing looks to move lower. So that's what I got for you guys on the EV plays from Tesla and out of China. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I appreciate you guys taking time to watch the video, and we'll see you in the next one.